How to start selling on Amazon FBA for beginners, step by step. That's the topic of today's video. And the goal of today's video is to help you understand the step by step and easy to follow manner how to start selling on Amazon. If you're a beginner, that's a must watch video. And even if you're somebody who's an advanced seller, you'll still find tons of gold nuggets in this video. Now, for this video, I have a friend today that's gonna help us with this video. Today I have Dan Edward for you. Dan Edward is a full-time Amazon FBA seller from Vancouver, Canada, and Dan is gonna show you all the process of how to start selling on Amazon. Dan is also a part of the mastermind that I'm a part of. And now let's start the video. Dan, I'm passing the camera to you, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? First of all, huge thanks to Vova for inviting me onto his YouTube channel. So in this video, we're going to cover how to start selling on Amazon for beginners. So I kind of put together a slideshow with some bullet points just to cover a bunch of different things. So it's going to be kind of a longer video. I'm going to try and get through it as fast as I can, but this is going to be kind of like a video trying to cover as much as I can about the Amazon process. First of all, a little bit about me. I'm a full-time Amazon seller. My main source of income is from my Amazon business, and here I'll just show you my sales. I don't know if you can see that on the webcam. I'll refresh. But I do about $50,000, $40,000 to $50,000 per month in revenue. That's not profit. Profit margins around 30 to 35%. So still able to make over 6 figures from my Amazon business, and I've been running it for about a year and a half. So yeah, it's a crazy business model, really like Amazon. You don't need too much money to get started in it compared to other businesses, especially like real estate, starting a restaurant, going to require a lot more capital. So I really like Amazon as a platform for starting an online business. And in this video, we're going to go over kind of everything that you need to know about starting an Amazon business. Obviously, I can't explain everything in this video, but I'm going to try my best to cover as much as I can. With that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. Okay, so first slide, account setup. So when setting up your Amazon account, you want to make sure that you scan all of your documents. If you just take a picture like with your iPhone, sometimes they just reject your application. So to save you, some time, you want to scan your documents. And then make sure all the information matches. So the name on your bank account, the name on your credit card, the name on your passport all matches. Some people have like different names. A friend of mine has like a Chinese name and it didn't match his Canadian passport. So there was like some issues there. So just make sure all the names match. And then I would also make sure before you just jump in and like say, I'm calling my brand this, you really need to make sure you check to make sure that the brand you want or the brand name isn't trademarked. So I'll get into that a bit later. You can also pay somebody on Fiverr to check to see if it's trademarked or not. Before you decide to call your store name something, you should probably check the trademark database to make sure somebody else hasn't trademarked it yet. Okay, another really important thing about starting an Amazon business is making sure you calculate your launch budget. So a lot of people, they try and launch products that they can't afford to launch. They see the numbers, they see, oh, this product's selling $50,000 per month, $60,000 per month. I'm going to launch this product. But what they don't realize is the more revenue a product's doing, the more money you're going to have to invest in order to buy the inventory. So you want to launch a product that's within your budget. If you want to start with, like I started with less than 10K. If you want to start with less than 10K, you're probably going to be looking at products that are in the 10 to 15K revenue mark per month. And if you see something that's doing 40K per month, you're probably going to have to buy a lot of inventory that's going to cost more than 10K. So it really depends on what your launch budget is. I'm just saying, like, if you only want to put like $5,000 into this business, you're probably going to be looking at products that are selling a little bit less in revenue per month. Because if you go after a product that's really competitive, you're going to, have to buy a lot of inventory, then you're going to have to pay a lot in order to rank it. The more competitive a product is, the more you're going to have to pay to rank it because you're going to be giving away units at the beginning. If it's a competitive product, you're going to have to give away more units. It's just going to get expensive. So it's really important to know your launch budget and to find a product that's within that launch budget. So the way you do that is using Amazon's revenue calculator. So it's a free tool. by Amazon, and basically you just paste in the ASIN number of a competitor similar to you. It'll give you like the dimensions of the product, so you can calculate how much the Amazon fees are going to be. You can calculate how much the shipping's going to be, and then you can kind of estimate how much a product's going to cost to launch. So I'll go into the Amazon revenue calculator in a second, but you want to check how many units are selling per month. You want to check how much 2 months of inventory is going to cost. The reason is when you're working with a factory in China, it usually takes them a month to make the product, and then it'll take a month for that to be shipped by sea into Amazon's warehouse. A lot of people think that you're doing the shipping yourself. You're actually not. Amazon is doing all of the shipping for you. So you're just sending the product from the factory in China to the warehouse in the US, Amazon's warehouse in the US. So you don't actually touch the product. You do get samples, so you do like test the quality, obviously, but you're not shipping the product yourself. And then you want to get a sea freight quote from your freight forwarder. So a lot of people, they get stuck on kind of this sea shipping and all the shipping logistics. Really, all you have to focus on is finding a good freight forwarder. A good freight forwarder will make your life really easy. They do all the paperwork for you. You don't have to worry about import bonds, import paperwork. Like the freight forwarder, you just pay them, they take care of everything. So you just want to focus on finding a good freight forwarder. My recommendation for finding a good freight forwarder is to check Facebook groups. There's a lot of good recommendations in there. You can just join an Amazon FBA Facebook group, make a post in the group saying, hey, I'm looking for recommendations for a freight forwarder. You'll get, a bunch of different options. I would contact like 5 of them and just get quotes for the sea shipment and just kind of gauge like how well they're communicating with you. Sometimes freight forwarders are really cheap, but then they don't answer your messages right away. So I like to find somebody who's responsive and the price is, pretty good. So let's go back to the Amazon revenue calculator. So what you want to do, let's say you're thinking of launching these coffee coasters, is you want to find a competitor that is selling a similar size or a similar quantity that you're thinking, right? So obviously these marble coasters are going to be heavier probably than these wooden coasters. So if you're thinking about launching a marble coaster, you would want to use this competitor's information. And if you're going to sell a set of 6, then you're going to want this guy's information. So all you have to do is go down to find the ASIN number. It's down here. You just copy that and paste that into the Amazon revenue calculator. Click on search. And this will bring up the package dimensions and the weight. And then all you have to do is make sure you're in this Amazon fulfillment section. You just put the item price. So the item price of this is $30. Okay. And then what you want to do is get this net margin number down to 30% because the average profit margin of people on Amazon is around 30%. So we can estimate, okay, maybe the product costs him $5. Okay, so that's a 47% margin. Let's say it costs him $6. It's a 44% margin. Let's say it costs him $9. It's a 34% margin. We're getting closer. Let's just say $11. Okay, that's a bit low. $10. Okay, we're at 30% margin. So we can estimate that this product, including the freight shipping, so the cost of the product and the shipping, getting into Amazon, all the costs is going to be about $10 per unit. Okay, so it's hard to estimate the shipping without contacting your freight forwarder. So to get the most accurate quote, you would want to contact your freight forwarder and say, hey, these are the dimensions of the product. This is the weight. Can you give me an estimate for sea shipping into Amazon? And they can do that for you. But this is just a rough estimate for how much the inventory is going to cost. So in this example, it's $10 per unit. And we can go back here to Amazon, pull up Helium 10. By the way, there's going to be discount codes for Helium 10 in the description. So it's selling 950 units per month, $28,000 of revenue. So it's, doing quite a bit of revenue, probably not going to be super cheap to launch this product. And then remember when I said to check, actually, I don't think I pulled that slide up, but one thing you want to check for is the size tier. If it says small oversize here, that means it's a pretty big product. You probably want to stay away from that. I like to stick within large standard size and small standard size. So here it's selling 951 units per month. So we can just grab the calculator. Okay, so we estimated that it's $10 per unit times 951 times 2. So if I wanted to safely launch a product like this, I might have to put in $19,000 into the first round of inventory. Now, you probably don't need to order exactly what this guy is selling because, he has 182 reviews. So he has a lot of reviews already. So when people have more reviews, they're going to sell more. So one thing you could do to get a more accurate estimate for how much a product is selling or going to sell is find one with, a little bit lower review count. So this one has 17 reviews. I mean, the design is kind of, here, let's find something a little closer to the marble. Okay, so this says 71 reviews. Let's see how much this is selling. So 669 sales per month. So it's doing about 12K a month. So that's a safe estimate. So the other one was doing around 30K. So we could probably divide this by, by 3. So maybe it'll cost around $6,000 to $10,000 for the first round of inventory, assuming that you're obviously going to have less reviews than the other guy. So yeah, you want to just make sure that you're calculating like how much each unit's going to cost, and the best way to do that is just with this calculator, and to get the net margin down to around 30%. So some other costs you want to take into consideration is the launch cost. I think you need at least $1,000 to launch and give away product. Probably more than that. It's probably between $1,000 to $3,000. The reorder cost, so this is going to be buying the second round of inventory. Now you can use the profits from the sale of the first batch of inventory to reorder, but usually you're going to have to put a little bit more into the reorder cost, especially if your revenue is going up significantly. There's also a 2-week delay that Amazon pays you. So Amazon, even if you have the money and it's profit, Amazon will hold on to that for 2 weeks before giving it back to you. So there is kind of a little bit of delays, and you want to set aside a little bit of money for reordering more product. And I would say don't launch a second product until you know how good the first product is going to sell, because what can happen is, you launch your first product, maybe the first month it does 5K, second month it does 8K, third month it does 12K. So the revenue is going up as you get more reviews, and you need to just set aside some of those profits to buy more and more and more inventory. So just keep that in mind. You're going to need some money for the second reorder. All right, so let's go into product research. So one thing I recommend is to stay away from electronic products. You want to check the sales depth. So the reason why you want to stay away from electronic products is because there's a lot of defects. People will return the product. Frequently, it's hard to find something that is really good quality. Like, there's so many manufacturers for electronics. You don't know how good the battery is. You don't know how well it's going to work. I would just say avoid electronics. Check sales depth. So what I mean by that is you want to make sure that everybody on page 1 is making money. So like when you open up, Helium 10 or a viral launch, just scroll down to the bottom of page 1 and see what people at the bottom are doing. Like, they're still making money in this niche. So I would say this is a pretty good niche with sales depth. It's also good to check how good are people on page 2 selling. You just want to make sure that it's not just, the top 2 or 3 making money. You want to make sure that everybody down page 1 is making money. So if you're a beginner, I would recommend sticking with a product price between $10 to $30. just because once you get over that $30 range, it's going to be more expensive to buy inventory. Giveaways are going to be more expensive. People tend to leave 1-star reviews more frequently on products that are over $30 just because, they're spending more money. If it's not good, they're going to leave a 1-star review. So that $10 to $30 range is a pretty good range for beginners. You want to try and find something that is small and lightweight. So don't sell anything, in my opinion, larger than large standard size. So anything that says small oversize, you kind of want to avoid because the shipping cost is going to be pretty high to ship it from China into Amazon. And I recommend launching something that is a new design. So what do I mean by this? So if I'm looking at coffee coasters and I'm seeing, okay, people are making money, people are buying coffee coasters, what I would do is go over to Pinterest and just search for coffee coasters. And the reason why I like Pinterest is because things get upvoted. So what people like tend to rise to the top of the search. So you kind of know that people already like the design because it's higher up on the Pinterest search. You can also search on Etsy. There's a lot of really good quality handmade products on Etsy that aren't for sale on Amazon. So you can kind of use their designs or ideas when you're launching on Amazon. So like, for example, these are pretty cool. I don't see these on page 1 Amazon. I don't see these on page 1 Amazon. So what I would do is I would find a design that looks really cool, that has a lot of people are upvoting it on Pinterest. And then I would come over to Alibaba and search for lava rock coaster. Okay, nothing came up. Let's see. Let's try stone. Let's just do stone coffee coaster. Right, so then you would message some of these factories and see if they can customize the design to what you found on Pinterest. Sometimes they can't customize it because they just don't have the materials required, but most of the time they're pretty good at customizing products. And then what I would do is if I like this design, I'm going to go back to Amazon and make sure that it's not currently being sold on page 1. If it's on page 2, that's probably okay, because with the ranking method me and Vova use, we pretty much can always get onto page 1 for most keywords. So if it's on page 2, it's not a huge deal. I just want to make sure that it's not on page 1 and selling like crazy, because it's going to be hard to compete with that person. But if this isn't on Amazon yet, then it's going to be really easy to compete, because we can just launch it and it'll start selling without a massive amount of reviews. People will just be buying it because they like the design. So Pinterest is a great place to look. Like, I really like these kind of coasters. These would be like wood coaster. So depending on what design you want to do, you want to search Alibaba for like the material. So if it's a wood coaster, make sure to search for wood coaster, because then you'll get factories that actually specialize in wood. And if you want to go with like a stone coffee coaster, then you would find a factory that specializes in working with different kinds of stone and stuff like that. So yeah, let me just go back to the slide here. So Pinterest is really good. Etsy's really good. Another tip I have is to search for new hobbies that people have. So I just searched for quarantine hobbies and I got a big list of hobbies. Like, one of them is jam making, candle making, pressing flowers, origami, scrapbooking. There's so many different, and I think hobbies is a good niche because people are willing to spend money on it. The whole COVID pandemic, people are still buying products for their hobbies. So, you can try searching for like jam making kit or something. And there's so many different product ideas. Something about kits is they're like a little bit bigger, heavier, a lot of moving pieces. I would be a little bit careful about launching a kit as your first product, but maybe something inside of a kit that you see you can sell individually, like these food prep canning labels. Like, this is a small product. You can customize the label to make it really nice looking. It sells $20,000 per month. This product's probably really cheap to make. So this would be a good product to launch, and it's small, lightweight. and it's related to people's hobbies, which is always a good thing. And then you can check like the frequently bought together, like what is this? Canning funnel, right? So this is another product that people would be looking for if they're wanting to make their own jam, right? So this one, these are obviously way nicer than this plastic one. Lots of different styles on here, so you can launch your own style. Maybe you include something extra that other people aren't including. And it's also, if you have nice packaging, I usually recommend showing it off in the main image just because it makes your product look so much more premium. Yeah, so this would be an example of a good product. Another tip I have is to go, if you find a good product that's selling well, go to like their storefront and see what else they're selling. Because you can get, maybe they just launched something. Okay, it looks like they're specializing kind of like stickers, parking tags. Yeah, they sell a lot of different stuff. Parking permit tag. I wonder how much this sells. Okay, this one's not selling too great, $400 a month, but interesting product. But yeah, I like to, see what people's hobbies are, like new hobbies coming up. Origami, kind of interesting. Scrapbooking's always a big one. Drawing. I know someone who has a really successful Amazon business selling art supplies. So people are passionate about this stuff. They're willing to spend money on it. Jewelry making, that's another big niche. There's so many hobbies and stuff that you can dig into, knitting. I would say, if you're a beginner, a good place to start is home decor, just because you can launch, you can find something on Pinterest that's not on Amazon. Boom, you launch it. And these are so cool. I think that's a good product. It's just a cool wooden coffee coaster. This is so cool. This isn't on Amazon. 100% people would buy this. Just some products ideas for you guys. Another tip is to follow pages on Instagram for specific niches. So there's Instagram pages that repost cool stuff. They'll repost new home decor products that you can get ideas from. So it's always a good idea to just follow a few of those pages. Look out for new stuff. Okay, so when you're contacting factories, usually you're going to be working with Chinese factories, unless you're selling like supplements or skincare, then you're going to be looking in the US. But for finding a factory, I usually like to use Alibaba. You can also use 1688. It's kind of like the Chinese version of Alibaba, so you can get some cheaper pricing sometimes on 1688. But for all my products, I found my factories through Alibaba, and my factories have been so good, like unbelievable. And so what you can do when you're searching is, if you want, you can filter by country. So let's say you don't want to find a factory in China, you want to go with one in Vietnam or India. You can just check this box here and it'll only show you factories from those countries. But what I like to do is, you can favorite them like this, and then you can mass message them all at the same time, so you're not having to individually message them. But one thing I like to do is to check if they are a manufacturer or a trading company. What you do is you just click on their factory link. So this is a manufacturer and a trading company. So in that case, I would look at their main products and see what are they specialized in. They're specialized in bamboo, right? So this is kind of like a bamboo factory. So this is probably someone I would contact. Just go through, don't be afraid to go to page 2. And you want to find a factory that specializes in the material that you want your product to be. So this is looks like wood coasters. I'm going to check out their page. So they're a trading company. So it's not the end of the world to work with a trading company. The lead times will probably be faster. It's just going to be a little bit more expensive than working with a factory. So I usually recommend to try and find like a factory. But if a trading company has the product you want and the quality is good, then you can go with a trading company. These are pretty nice. Let's check out if they specialize in marble. So this would be a great factory to contact for those kind of half marble ones. Yeah, like this. These kind of designs, this would probably be a good factory for that. But I usually contact between 10 to 20 different factories, and I just get price quotes. I see how good their responses are. I ask them what the lead time is. So how long is it going to take you to make the product? Usually I like to stay under 30 days for the lead time. If it's above 30 days, it's just a really long time to wait for the product to get finished. Always order samples from at least 5 factories because you want to compare the quality. Maybe one factory is cheaper, one factory is more expensive. You want to compare those two qualities and see if it's worth it to do the more expensive one or the cheaper one. Always try to contact at least 10 to 20 factories when you're comparing the price. And I usually ask for the EXW price. That just means the price without the shipping costs because you're going to be using a freight forwarder. So EXW price without packaging included. A lot of the time the factories will try and include as much as they can in the quote, like, oh, this is the price with shipping and box included and insert card included. Like, you just want the price without anything added, just the cost of the product, no packaging, no insert card, because you can get that later. I actually have a contact for really nice packaging and I always use him. So I will get him to ship the boxes to the factory, and then the factory packages the product in the boxes. So I'm using 2 factories when I'm putting together my products. But EXW price is kind of the best, it'd probably be the cheapest price. So tips for shipping into Amazon from China. You can do 20% air freight and 80% sea freight. So that's a faster way to get your product to Amazon, because if you order 1,000 units and 200 of them are on a plane and they get there in 10 days, you can start ranking your product within 10 days. And then as the product starts to rank, that's when your 80% from your sea freight comes in. And it's a good way to launch a bit quicker. But a lot of the time, like once you've launched, I just do 100% sea freight. It's just the cheapest way to go. Always try to get on a fast boat. So when you're talking to your freight forwarder, ask them like, do you have fast ship? Do you have fast boat? Because that'll get from China to the States in like 20 to 24 days, whereas a normal freight ship will get there in like 30 days. And the fast boat is really not that much more expensive. I would recommend doing the fast boat. When you're getting quotes from your freight forwarder, make sure that they include the tariffs in the quote. In the past, I had a freight forwarder who seemed like a really good price, and then I paid him, and then he was like, oh yeah, the import duty or the import tariff was like a couple $1,000, and he didn't include that in the quote. So I found a different freight forwarder who included everything in the quote. Pay with OFX to save on transaction fees. So sometimes the freight forwarders still want you to pay with PayPal. PayPal just has more fees. It's cheaper to pay with OFX, just a tip. And when you make your shipping labels inside of Amazon Seller Central, there'll be a ship from address. If your freight forwarder has an address in the US, like a US warehouse, use that as the ship from address, because if your shipment gets rejected by Amazon, instead of it being sent back to China, it'll be sent to your freight forwarder's USA warehouse. If they don't have a warehouse, you can just put your factory's address. That's what I do for most of my products. Haven't had an issue, but just to be safe, I would put your freight forwarder's USA warehouse address if they have one. Labeling requirements. So when you pay for your product and your factory is making it, there's going to be some labeling that needs to be done when you ship your product into Amazon. So you're going to need an F and SKU label. That's kind of like the barcode that goes on the outside of the packaging that Amazon scans. So when you create a new listing inside of Amazon, once you create that new listing, you'll be able to print F and SKU labels and send that to the factory so they can stick it on the outside of the box. If your product is a set, you want to have a "this is a set, do not separate" sticker that just goes on the outside of the box as well. You need to have a "made in China" label somewhere on the box or the poly bag. It can be a sticker. It can just be printed on the box design. If you're using a poly bag, you have to have a suffocation warning just in case like a kid doesn't choke on the bag or something. You only need a suffocation warning if the opening of the poly bag is greater than 5 inches. So keep that in mind. And you're going to need the carton shipment labels for the outside of the carton. So when you make your shipping plan inside of Amazon, you get these shipping labels. Those shipping labels get stuck onto the cartons. And that way, when the shipment comes into Amazon's warehouse, they can scan the carton label and they know exactly what the product is. But the carton label and the shipment label is different than the F and SKU label. The F and SKU label goes on the product. The shipping label goes on the carton. So there's 2 different labels there. So once your product arrives into Amazon, you're obviously going to need to start ranking the product. Just to give you an overview, how ranking works is Amazon, you're going to have to drive some sales to your product. If your product is on page, let's say it's on page 5. In order to get that product from page 5 to page 1, you're going to need to send sales to that product. And the way we do that is through giveaways. So we say, hey, we're just launching our new product. Maybe it's to an email list, maybe it's a Facebook ad through ManyChat. But basically we say, hey, we are giving away our product for free, 100% for free. All you have to do is go to Amazon, buy the product, send a screenshot with your order ID, and we will give you 100% of your money rebated. And that way your product gets sales, and then it starts to rank to like page 2. And then once it's on page 2, you're going to be explaining to people in the email or in the message like, hey, can you go to Amazon and search for this keyword? So in this example, the keyword is canning funnel, right? Can you search for this keyword, scroll down page 1, go to page 2, find this product, looks like this, the brand's called this, and buy the product at full price. We'll send you a rebate. And you'd be surprised how many people, go through and buy your product. And because they're getting it for free, you're giving them their money back, and you're getting ranking because people are buying the product at full price. And that's how you rank extremely quickly. Go back to the slides. Okay, so a tip is to give away only like 2 to 3 units a day until you're ranked on page 2. A lot of people, like from the beginning, they will give away like 20 products a day, and you don't really need to do that. You can start with just giving away 3 to 4 products a day until you're on page 2. And then once you're on page 2, you can tell people to search for a keyword and to scroll down the page and find the product, buy it, you send them the rebate. A tip is to use super URLs when doing giveaways. So if you're not on page 2, you're probably going to have to send people a link to buy your product. When you send them a link, make sure to use a super URL. Pixelfy.me is a really good company that makes super URLs. Would definitely use a super URL when ranking. So after you're on page 2, that's when you want to switch to like Facebook ads and email, or Facebook ads and ManyChat. And you kind of explain to people, okay, go to Amazon.com, search for this keyword, scroll down the page, find this picture. This is my product. This is my brand. Buy it at full price. We'll give you 100% of the rebate, and people do it. So I don't want to get too into depth. It's like another entire video on how to do like a ManyChat flow. I cover that in my course, so make sure to check that out. Let's see, tips for reviews. These days it's harder to get reviews on Amazon. One thing is you don't want to pay someone on Fiverr to like give you reviews. A, it probably won't work, and B, you can get banned. So you want to be kind of careful how you get reviews. My tip would be to use insert cards. So you have a card inserted with your product that says like, it can just be humorous, like it can be funny, just, hey, please leave us a review. You want to be careful about what's on your insert card. If you say, hey, we'll give you $10 if you leave us a 5-star review. If you put that on your insert card and Amazon finds out you're doing that, they can ban you. So just be kind of careful. But you can say like, hey, if you go to our website, we will give you a free product, but don't mention the review. Once they go to the site, they enter in their information, and then you say, okay, by the way, for the free product, you have to, send a screenshot of your review. And that way it's kind of separate. You're not saying on the insert card, free product for review. You're just saying, go to my website. And then on the website, that's when you ask for the review, if that makes sense. So if you're giving away rebates to people for free to rank, make sure you always follow up with those people after they got their product for free. Just message them on ManyChat or through email and say, hey, hope you're liking the free product we gave you. Please leave us a review. It would really help our business. And most of the time people will do that. Follow-up email sequences. So Helium 10 has a tool. Basically, when people order the product on Amazon, they'll get these automated emails sent to them. And inside those emails, you can provide value. You can give them instructions on how to use your product. And then you can also request a review in those emails. If you want a discount code for Helium 10, there's going to be links in the description as well. But the discount code is DEdward50 for 50% off Helium 10. Okay, and then another kind of tip you can do is to send them an insert card in the mail after they purchase. So I actually haven't experimented with this, but basically they would order your product on Amazon. You would get their address, And then, you know, after they receive their products, 5 days later in the mail, they get a little insert card from you that says, hey, hope you like your new Amazon product. Please leave us a review. That way it's kind of separate from Amazon. It's usually sent through a different company. So you design your insert card and then you just manually send them people who purchase your product, like these insert cards in the mail. All right, so that's it for this video. This has been a really long video. Went over a lot of things, kind of product research, ranking, factories. Like I couldn't cover everything. I do have an ebook. It's a free ebook. If you want to learn about what the first product I ever launched was, you can go to officialdanedward.com, download my ebook, and inside that ebook, I kind of go over what my first product was, how that product went, what happened, how I got started. There's also some discount codes for Helium 10 if you want to sign up. Helium 10 is basically the software that I use to do everything. Like I do this is Helium 10 right here. I also use it for keyword research, my email follow-ups, pretty much everything related to my Amazon business is done through Helium 10. My YouTube channel is just Dan Edward. My Instagram is danedward.ig. So again, huge thanks to Vova for allowing me to make a video on his channel. Hope this provided value to you guys. Make sure to subscribe to Vova. He really knows his stuff. We've been in the same mastermind for about a year now, and he provides a lot of value and gives like things that I haven't heard of. He tells me like he knows his shit. So make sure to subscribe to his channel. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Dan, thanks a lot for sharing this awesome information with us today. Hopefully it's been helpful for those watching. I really had fun watching this. It was pretty awesome. Guys, grab Dan's free ebook in the description of this video. Learn more about his story. Check out what his first product was. It's a pretty cool ebook. It's nice to read, easy to read. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, along with other resources that Dan has for you in the description. Now, if you want to know more about selling on Amazon, specifically in the product research part, I have a huge video up here for you. It's a 12-hour Amazon FBA product research video where I show you all the process of how to find products to sell on Amazon. So click here now if you're interested in that, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Thank you a lot.